All of you mute yourself. Okay. Madam, you can make me co-host so that I can mute the people when required.
Right, sir.
Okay, so yesterday we discussed about pole and polar, conjugate points and inverse points. Anybody has any doubt, anything related to that? Okay, no doubt. All right. One more thing I did not discuss, I want to finish now. If we take a circle from an external point, if you draw two tangents and the chord of contact, if this is P and this is A and this is B, there's a formula for area of triangle PAB. Yesterday we discussed about area of quadrilateral, area of triangle PAB, there's a formula. It is a question. I don't have used that formula in so many places or something like that. Okay. You know, if this is x1 comma y1 and this is s equal to 0, this length is root s11, this is root s11, if this angle is theta, according to properties of triangle, we have of AB sin C is the formula for area of triangle. That is, we have this length and sine of angle between them. So, area of triangle PAB is of into PA into PB into sine theta. Of into PA is root s11, PB is root s11. How to find sine theta? I know formula for tan theta by 2 as r by root s11. We have seen that is a very simple derivation because I can join like this. 90 is here. This is r. This is root s11. Tan theta is opposite by distant side. Sine theta I can write 2 tan theta by 2 by 1 plus tan square theta by 2. Wherever tan theta by 2 is there, I can substitute that r by root s1. So I'll get off into this is s11. This is tan theta by 2 is r by root s11. This is r square by s1. 1 by 2 into s11. If I simplify this, I can cancel 2 also. R by root s11. This LCM and take reciprocal, I'll get s11 by s11 plus r square. Okay. So you can get s11 power 3 by 2. So r into s11 power 3 by 2 by s11 plus r square. Okay, that is the formula for area of triangle PAB. Basically, s11 plus r square means it will be this distance whole square, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so I don't necessarily say you should remember this formula, but you should know that it is derived based on of AB sin C. So whenever you need, you can derive it. And we have quite a similar formula even in parabola. Okay, there also will come s11 power 3 by 2. Here something will come x square plus a square or something. The derivation was slightly different. Is this okay?
Yes.
I hope if somebody is missing the class, they are seeing the recording, right? Okay, may not be anybody missing. So Sanjana, long time back you wanted circles revision. So I hope now things are clear for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so relative positions of circles. Whenever you take two circles, there are 5 cases. The circles can be completely separate to each other like this. Or if you bring them little close, they can touch externally. If you take little more closer, they can intersect. If you take little more closer, one can be inside the other and touching like this. Or one can completely lie within the other. Basically, I'm taking this circle fixed and this circle, you are moving it slowly towards it. You can imagine like that. Coming to this one, if you take center as C1, this is C2, this is R1, this is R2. You can easily see distance between the centers is sum of the radius. So here C1, C2 is R1 plus R2. Coming to this, here C1, C2 is R1 minus R2 because this total is R1, this total is R2, distance between the centers is R1 minus R2. We don't know which is greater, so I'm going to write mod R1 minus R2. And here the distance between the centers is much more than R1 plus R2 because there's an extra part here. So C1, C2 is greater than R1 plus R2. Basically, what is happening? You are bringing them closer. Slowly, the distance between the centers are decreasing. Here it is greater than R1 plus R2. Here it is R1 plus R2. Here it is little less. And here it is R2. So it is in between these two. So here it is C1, C2 is less than R1 plus R2, more than R1 minus R2. And here it is much less than this also. So C1, C2 is less than mod R1 minus R2 for this. And here, total 34 tangents. One is a tangent like this, one is a tangent like this, one is a tangent like this, one is a tangent like this. Total 4 common tangents. Any line which is tangent to first circle and second circle both, it is called common tangent. It is tangent to first one, tangent to second one. But why this is called direct common tangent? For that tangent, when both circles are lie on one side, this is called direct common tangent. If the circles lie on either side, it is called transverse common tangent. So this one is transverse common tangent because one is on this side, one is on this side. This one is also transverse common tangent. One is on this side, one is on this side. And these two are direct common tangents. So if I take a number of common tangents, you have to write this side. So anywhere I can write. Yeah. Direct common tangent, transverse common tangent, and total tangents. 3 numbers I want to write. The direct common tangents 2, transverse common tangents 2, total is 4. Coming to this, these two are 2 direct common tangents and this is 1 transverse common tangent. So 2 here, 1 here, total 3 for this. Here no transverse, only 2 direct. So 2, 0 and total will be 2. Here only 1 tangent and both circles are one side. So that is a direct common tangent, no transverse common tangent, so 1. This cannot have common tangent because one is inside the other. So 0, 0, 0. You can see the total number of common tangents here 0, here 1, here 2, here 3, here 4. Just continuously. Okay, so that is about number of tangents. So whenever they give 2 circles, either they ask how many common tangents they have, how many direct, how many transverse, or which case they are. First you have to find C1, C2, find R1, find R2, and find R1 plus R2 and mod R1 minus R2, see which case it belongs. All right. Okay, next. Earlier we've seen minimum distance and maximum distance from a point to a circle. Now let's take 2 different circles. Let's say this is center C1, this center is C2, radius is R1, radius R2. They're fixed circles, fixed radius. P is any point on this, and Q is any point on this variable point. Where you will get PQ length maximum and PQ length minimum. We already know in first year calculus, whenever I have 2 curves, I want shortest distance between them, PQ to be least. PQ should be normal to the first curve and normal to the second curve, whether minimum or maximum. So if you want PQ to be normal to both circles, normal of a circle should pass through center. So you should pass through this center and this center. So if you take that line, if you take P here and Q here, you will get the maximum. What is that one? C1, C2 plus R2 plus R1. So C1, C2 plus R1 plus R2 is the maximum possible value of PQ. Minimum is possible when P is here, Q is here. That minimum will be from distance between the centers, you have to remove R1 and remove R2. C1, C2 minus R1 plus R2. So this is the PQ max. This is PQ minimum. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Let us say the two circles are touching. Again, almost same as that. Maximum is again PQ plus R1, that is C1, C2 plus R1 plus R2. That may be 2 times R1 plus R2, but same formula. Minimum is 0, again same formula. When they're intersecting, maximum is still same. P is here, Q is here, where C1, C2 plus R1 plus R2. But minimum is, because they're intersecting, it is 0. It is not C1, C2 minus R1 plus R2 or the vice versa of that. Because they're intersecting, it is 0. What if one is inside the other? Then what is the maximum value of PQ? Let us see if somebody can answer this. Okay, this is a circle with C1 center and radius R1. This is a circle with C2 and radius R2. If we take a variable point on this and a variable point on this, what is the maximum possible distance between the two variable points?
2R1.
2R1, yes, because you can take P here and Q here. And it is still that formula C1, C2 plus R1 plus R2 only, I think. Why? What is the distance between the centers here? R1 minus R2. R2 will cancel 2R1. This is 2R1 from the figure, but C1, C2 plus R1 plus R2 can still tell, and minimum is 0. Okay. So every time the maximum is not changing. It is always C1, C2 plus R1 plus R2. Even if one is inside the other. Let us say one is here, one is here, this center is here, this center is here. This is C1, this is C2. Where you will get? Where will you get C1, C2, the PQ maximum is when you take here and here. When you take here and here. Again, that is distance between the centers plus R2 plus R. Okay. So maximum is every time in all the 5 cases C1, C2 plus R1 plus R2. Minimum, whenever they have intersect or they touch, it is 0. When they are completely separate, we have seen this formula C1, C2 minus R1 plus R2. When one is inside the other, what is the minimum? Where you get minimum is this small distance. Okay. What is that? Will be
R2 minus C1, C2 minus R2.
Total is R1 here. R1 is bigger. So R1, from R1 you have to remove. This is R1. I have to remove C1, C2 plus R2. C1, C2 plus R2. So that will be R1 minus R2 minus C1, C2. Because this is smaller, this is bigger. But more than just remembering formula, if you understand that, yes, please.
Number of participants.
Number of?
Participants are increasing.
I will not tell what is increasing.
Participants, sir, participants.
Number of participants is increasing. Okay.
Don't worry. They are leaving, so they are coming here. You carry on your class.
Oh, you assign a breakout room and they just go. All right. Okay. Okay. So participants number is increasing. You don't have to worry because some other people are joining and they'll be sent out. We are in main room. They'll go to another breakout room, I guess. Maybe they are senior BIPC students. I don't know. Okay, so in all these 5 cases, we have seen what is the minimum value of PQ and what is the maximum value of PQ. Another thing is we already know about a little bit of ellipse. I'm telling at this stage, otherwise I would have told you in ellipse chapter that if I have 2 circles, okay, if a circle is touching both of them, no, one is inside the other, let us take. Let us say I have one big circle and another small circle, and they are not concentric. There will be a lot of other circles touching this one externally and this one internally. Okay, like this and like this. So there will be a lot of circles, these dotted ones, they are touching this circle externally, this circle internally. Okay, the locus of all those centers is an ellipse. How is that? If we take this as C and the original big circle center as C1, this fixed circle as C2. The original big circle center is C1, this is C2. This radius is R1, the big radius, this is R2, and this variable radius, I'll take it as R. Because these, what is that? These two are touching externally, C2. I can erase rather than just avoid confusion. Yeah, a circle is touching this small circle externally, this big circle internally. Because these two are touching externally, this number in the center is sum of the radius, you get R plus R2. Because this one and the big circle are touching internally, C1, the distance between this center and this center is, the bigger radius is R1 minus smaller radius is R. Okay, R is variable, not fixed as the circle moves. But when you add them, we'll get CC1 plus CC2 is R, this R will cancel, we'll get R1 plus R. All right. So this looks like PA plus PB equal to constant. Whenever PA plus PB is constant, locus of P is a circle with A and B as the foci and K as the length of major axis of that, right? The same way here, the locus is an ellipse, okay, where these two are foci and this R1 plus R2 is the length of major axis of that. Is this point everybody clear how this variable circle center locus is ellipse? Is it clear?
Yes.
All right. But there is one more ellipse possible here, right here is, this is my big circle and this is one small circle. There will be a variable circle touching this one also internally, both of them. Okay, one may say if something is inside this, how can it touch this? No, I'm not saying inside this, touching internally, I said it can touch like this. Okay, you can see this and this are touching internally, this dotted one and this big one also touching internally. If we take that center as C, this center as C1, this center as C2, these two are touching internally, so CC1, bigger radius is R1 and smaller radius is R, this variable radius is R. And because these two are touching also internally, CC2, bigger radius is R, smaller radius is R2, so it will be R minus R2. Again, I have to add them only. R will cancel. CC1 plus CC2 is not R1 plus R2. Earlier I got that, but now I got R1 minus R2. So whenever PA plus PB is constant, okay, locus of P is again ellipse. So it is also ellipse with same C1 and C2 as the foci, but little shorter ellipse because length of major axis is not R1 plus R2, R1 minus R2. Is it okay? So this is when one is inside the other. When both are touching internally, then also we'll get an ellipse. Also, will there be a circle? Other one will be a line. Will it be a line? Other one? Yeah. That is because PA plus PB is coming exactly AB. R1 minus R2 is distributed in the centers. No. Yeah, here. This is R1, this is R2. So it's going to be a line. Okay, here one of them is ellipse and the other one is line will come. What if they're intersecting? They will be outside, you'll get hyperbolas. Okay, other part we'll see later. Even hyperbola also we can see what is there. Let us say I have two circles like this, completely outside. There will be 4 cases will come. A circle can touch this one and this one externally, both of them internally, or one internal, one external. Okay, I'll get 4 branches of hyperbola. Right. Please mute whoever is got unmuted. I don't know, somebody is roll number 2020 Suji 10289 ESM248. They have to mute themselves. I am not the co-host to mute. I am a co-host, but I am not able to mute them. Are you hearing a lot of water sound? Some kind of water type of sound?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Maybe they want you to be quite peaceful. You know, there are some therapies where they'll make you hear all kinds of natural sounds, okay, at a shore or something like that. Okay, it releases the stress levels. These sounds are going up and down. Okay. In charge, madam, later on you give co-host facility to mute everybody, madam. All right, we'll just carry on. Okay. Okay, let us say I have two circles. One is exterior to other. I want a circle touching this one also externally, this one also externally. That can be like this. I'm not able to mute this first. All right. I think when I talk, that is coming down. Maybe we'll see. Okay, this is C1. This is C2. This is... Kalyani madam, please call to in charge madam and do something about it, madam. It's all going in recording also. Okay, I'll just carry on. Kalyani madam, are you there, madam? In charge madam, are you there? Madam, you have to mute somebody, madam, here.
Okay, sir.
Lot of noise is coming. I'm not able to mute them. As a co-host, I also don't have
sir.
power to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whoever said yes, please mute yourself. Okay. Got it. Okay. Now stress levels are down. Okay. All right. Where are we now? Okay. So here this is variable radius R. CC1 is R plus R1 and CC2 is R plus R2. Okay. My son attends classes in Google Classroom. Okay. Their teacher doesn't have power to mute everybody. Okay. And they're young children. Half of the time in the class, the teacher has to shout, so and so person mute and all that. Okay, where are we now? Okay, so now R is changing. How to eliminate R is that you subtract these two. CC1 minus CC2 is equal to R1 minus R2. Okay, so it is like PA minus PB is constant. Whenever PA minus PB is constant, locus of P is not full hyperbola, only one branch of hyperbola. And there is a mod, it is two branches of hyperbola. Okay, so you'll get a particular hyperbola like this. When you take something touching both of them internally, let us you take same two circles, but something touching internally. Okay, then what happens? R is very big, so I have to write R minus R1 here, R minus R2. When I subtract here, I'll get R2 minus R2. Instead of R1 minus R2, I'll get R2 minus R1. So instead of PA minus PB is a positive constant, PB minus PA is a positive constant. So in this case, the locus of center of the variable circle which is touching both of them internally is another branch of the same hyperbola. What if it is touching this one internally and this one externally? It's quite possible. Like that, somewhat like this. Okay, then we may write here because internal will write R minus R1. It is external, we'll write R plus R2. When you subtract, instead of R1 minus R2, we'll be getting R1 plus R2. Again, PA minus PB is constant. Locus of that center will be a hyperbola. I'm just giving some idea. What is the point that I want to impress upon you is that simple thing that we learned, that whenever two circles are touching externally, the distance between the centers is sum of the radius. Whenever they're touching internally, the distance between the centers is difference of the radius. Just two small things. We are able to tell what is the locus of center of a circle which is touching both the given circles internally or externally as ellipse or hyperbola, just by knowing that simple things. Not you don't have to use any assume that point is x comma y and do some calculations, just theoretical only. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so overall, I think circles, yeah, we have to also find some more things are there. Internal center of similitude, external center of similitude, and how to find the common tangent. Just the process I will tell. Tomorrow I want to discuss at least up to 100 doubts. By tomorrow, everybody can try up to 100 minimum in MSET.
Sir.
Okay. So 61 to 100, any doubts I'll discuss tomorrow. I can even cover up to 120, I guess, because 4 days might have passed. Okay. We'll see. Where are we now? Yeah. Well, let us say two circles are like this. Now, when you draw two direct, let us take two transverse common tangents. How to find their equations? Before even finding where they intersect, that point has a name. It is called internal center of similitude. Internal center of similitude. Okay. Why it's that means what is similitude and all I don't exactly know, but internal word you can refer to. This radius is R1 and this radius where it is touching here is R2, and these two are similar triangles. So if you call this point as I, this is C1 and this is C2. This length and this length, the ratio of these two is same as this is to this. So I divide C1 and C2 internally in the ratio R1 is to R2. That's why it's called internal center of similitude, and that's how we can find I. All right, we can find I that. Now, once you know I, how to find the two tangents? After finding I by using proper section formula internally, you can forget about one of the circles. You don't need both circles now. Yes, somebody is asking.
Combined equation of tangents from a point you gave.
Yeah. Okay, I'll come back to that. You're asking S1 square to S into S1 on derivation. Something you're asking?
No, sir. That you already gave us.
Okay, we can use it. We can use it. You are saying. Okay. Yeah. Let us say I have a circle and I have a point outside that. There are two tangents that I can draw. Okay. How to find the two separate equations or combined equations? I want to tell 3 or 4 methods. First method is S1 square equal to S into S11. You know this is s equal to 0. This point is x1, y1. Use this formula. But that will give you combined equation. In first year pair of straight lines, you learned how to take a pair of straight lines equation and split into two lines. You can separate them whenever required. Second method, I prefer the second method more than the first method maybe. What is that? Okay, I'll just theoretically one more method. If assume the slope is m, then what is the equation of this line? Y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1. But how to find m? From this center to this line, the perpendicular distance should be radius. Apply the distance formula equated to radius. You'll get a quadratic equation in terms of m, where you'll get two values of m. Put that m back, you'll get the two lines equation. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
The one CD.
I'll tell with an example. Let's say this point is 2, 3. This slope is m, I'll assume. Then what is this line equation? Y minus 3 equal to m into x minus 2. Expand, you will get mx minus y minus 2m plus 3 equal to 0. We got a line. But how to find m value? For this to be tangent to a circle, from the center of that circle, you find distance to this equated to radius of that, where center is fixed given, radius is also given. You will be able to get some m values, because there will be a mod equal to some radius. When you remove mod, plus or minus, or when you square it, quadratic equation in terms of m, we will get two values of m. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So that is the second method. Just assume the slope as m, try to find it. Third method, I know the center is minus z comma minus f. I can find this slope, y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. I know this point, I can find the slope. How to find this slope? Okay, if I take this slope as m, and this is x1, y1, obviously this slope is y1 plus f by x1 plus f. And this angle theta by 2, I know, tan theta by 2 equal to r by root s1. What is the slope of this and what is the slope of this r? M plus tan theta by 2 by 1 minus m tan theta by 2. M minus tan theta by 2 by 1 plus m tan theta by 2. They are the slopes of these two lines. Because whenever there is a line with slope m, another line making an angle alpha with that, one is this side, one is this side. The slopes of them are m plus tan alpha by 1 minus m tan alpha, m minus tan alpha by 1 plus m tan alpha. Somewhat like tan a plus b formula, tan a minus b formula. Anybody problem with these formulas? Okay. Almost same. If you don't want to use this, you can do one thing. Assume this slope is m dash. What is the angle between the formula? Tan theta by 2 equal to mod m dash minus m by 1 plus m dash into m. Whenever the angle two line slopes are m1, m2, tan theta equal to mod m1 minus m2 by 1 plus m1, m2. That is this formula. You know this slope by using y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. This slope I don't know, you call it as m dash, but I know tan theta by 2, which is r by root s1. So substitute this, substitute m. When you solve this, you'll get m dash. In fact, when you get the two answers that you get from this are exactly this one. Is that okay?
Sir, means one doubt.
Tell.
Sir, what happens if m is not defined?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Means how we will find vertical line?
Yeah, correct. In IP especially, there are one or two questions where sometimes this itself may be vertical line, or sometimes the answer will come vertical line. So when you are supposed to get two answers, you get only one answer. You can quickly recognize the other one is a vertical line which doesn't have slope. Okay, and try to prove that. All right. One way to avoid that is you can take the slope as a by b minus a by b. Don't take m, take a by b or minus a by b. Use all this formula. In one other case, you'll get a equal to 0 or b equal to 0. Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
so I'm not even saying slope is minus. I'm not saying slope is also minus a by b. I'm just saying it is in the form of ax plus by plus k equal to 0. Then I can prove b is 0 and say it is in the form of x equal to a constant. You can avoid that. But one limitation is that you have to know when m is vertical, it will not be defined. So because of that, these formulas will not give you that answer. Whenever you are supposed to get two answers, you got only one answer. You have to understand other tangent is a vertical tangent. Is it clear? So mainly what we discussed is a circle equation is given. One point outside the circle is given. From that you can draw two tangents. How to find their combined equation or separate equations? We discuss three methods. Anybody any problem with that or any doubt? No problem. Okay, right. So now coming to that internal center of similitude. Okay. Madam, in charge, madam, later on, co-host also should have power to mute and unmute people, madam, if
Sorry,
possible.
sorry, sir, I didn't get you.
Co-host should be able to mute everybody. That facility can you give later on, madam?
I mean, co-host generally can mute everybody, sir. That option is itself there in Zoom app.
Right now, I'm not able to do it. I think co-host settings some are there.
Oh, I see. That I don't know, sir. Once you are done with the class, whenever you are free, call me, sir. Then we will rectify this here. And can I make a yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Maybe it is there, but my desktop, I think you did not make me co-host. You made my mobile.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine.
Once you make desktop, and I'll see it how it is.
Okay, sir. And sir, I wanted to make one announcement also. Now that there is a, I mean, we have given a break.
Go ahead, madam.
Basically, the students, sir, I think you have guided them to write their numbers and
Yes.
name. Initial
Yeah,
first
you do.
first name. I mean, most of them are not doing that. That is one problem. The other problem is, I mean, they will have to write senior ASB also, sir. Now that all the classes will be conducted in this.
Yeah.
Basically in this only, so for identification it would be easy for me, sir. They should write senior ASB and
Madam, let it be only ASB, madam, because
okay, fine. That is also okay, sir. Only ASB.
Okay.
144 Shraddha ASB, 219 Magna ASB. Like that, everybody has to do it, sir.
No, if you want ASB in the beginning, also they can keep, madam,
Yeah, that is also. I have no issue, sir.
because that will be easy for you to quickly recognize.
True, sir.
Do you want roll number? Or
Yeah,
don't?
that would be much better. In fact, ASB Uday, ASB
Madam,
Kalyan Public, ASB. Yeah.
You want roll number or you don't want roll number, madam?
I mean, it will be easy for the jails to identify who is absent, who is present, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
so all of
he
you.
is already written. Yeah, Lokesh. That's wonderful, Lokesh.
Okay, so all of you rename yourself later on, at least not today, maybe.
Yeah.
First, there should be ASB, and the next
Number
format
ASB
is,
name.
No, ASB number name.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Location is
ASB
done like
number
that only.
name.
Yeah. I'll put a message also in the group later on.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir.
Yes, can I tell?
Can we rename permanently, sir?
Yeah, we should be able to rename permanently. Where you have to go to your settings, the profile you have to go and change it.
Rohit has already read. Rohit is prompt in all this except turning on his video.
What, madam?
Nothing. You have done a wonderful job. I am praising you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Pranay,
sir.
I think anybody you have to change your name permanently if you are facing a problem. Sometimes it asks you, is it every time should I ask confirm this? Or go to your profile and there if you change a display name, then it will be permanent.
Sir, means the profile has to update, Zoom has to
Yeah, when you enter also it will ask, of course. That also you can do it, right?
Sir, but sir, every time.
Just a minute. Madam, now I got this option. Earlier I was not co-host.
Yeah, I think I had given only to your mobile, sir, not to your desktop.
Yeah. My mobile I don't use it. That means I keep it only for the like a
Recording
what do you
purpose.
call that. Yeah, just like a webcam only. That's all.
Okay. Who is this Pooja 96?
I don't know.
Okay, sir. I
Okay,
will
madam.
do.
All right. So you got an idea how to rename. Some people already renamed
Yeah,
because
that's
there are
wonderful,
BIPC students and these are combined. It will be easy to send into breakout rooms and for other purposes, attendance and all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are done with this. Yeah. Now coming back to this internal center of similitude. Where are we now? Yeah. So we have two transverse common tangents. And they're intersecting at one point. I explained already how this point will divide this center and this center in the ratio R1 is to R2 ratio internally. It is called internal center of similitude. You take C1 and C2 and divide in the ratio R1 is to R2 internally by using section formula, we'll get this point. Once you get that point, how to find this line and this line? Forget out one of the circles, take one circle and that point. You have to find these two tangents. We already discussed just now 3 methods or 4 methods. You can use any one of them. You can use combined equation S1 square equal to S into S11, or you can assume the slope is m, find this equation and apply perpendicular distance equal to radius, or you can find slope to the center, you know this angle, assume the slope is m dash, and between the two lines formula is tan theta equal to mod m1 minus m2 by 1 plus m1 m2. Use that, we'll get this slope and this slope, any one of these methods. Especially in IP, you have last exercise finding common tangents of two circles is very important 7 marks question, which may be quite lengthy, but you have to do all this work. Is it okay, or so far any doubt anybody has? Or this revision is useful, because what happens is if I don't do revision, people, small things people will not know, they will have asked doubt. When we discuss, it appears like everything is very, very small. What is the point of discussing? So at least some people, do you find this revision is useful or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes, sir.
I personally feel revision is not will tell something new or something great. Just we forgot some things maybe, just to recollect them. I'm sure if you just read the formulas and do some MCET level questions in the beginning, you'll be revised of the whole formulas, and then advanced material depends, some questions depends, only get idea, that's all. Okay, other concepts doesn't differ too much. Okay, how you find internals and transverse common tangents? Same processes for direct common tangents. The two direct common tangents where they intersect, this is R1 and this is R2. You can take this triangle, it is similar to this triangle, right? So this is P, this is some C1, this is some C2, this is some A, and this is some B. PC1A is similar to PC2B. So based on that, P will divide C1, C2 externally in the ratio R1 is to R2. PC1 is to PC2 is C1A is to C2. So earlier we divided internally, we got this point. Take C1, C2, divide the ratio R1 is to R2 externally, we'll get this point. Once you get that point, external center of similitude, how to find these two lines? The same procedure. We know circle and we know line. We want equations of these two lines. Again, now any one of the 3 methods we can use. Find the combined equation, or assume slope as m, or find that slope separately. There are a few things which can be proved by geometry or just on the figure also. At least 1 or 2 small things I want to tell. Let us say somebody gives me 2 circles equations like this, and there are 2 direct common tangents. Okay, there are 2 direct common tangents. Okay, let us say somebody asks angle between these 2 lines. Of course, I can find this point, external center of similitude, and then use tan theta by 2 equal to r by root S11, or draw one line parallel to this given line. This is R1, this is R2. From here to here, distance is D. This small length, if you take, this is R1, so this is R1, so this total will be R2, so this small thing will be R2 minus R. This is D, so from here to here, that distance also D, because it's a parallelogram. If at all you take this is alpha, this is also alpha. From this triangle, I can take sine alpha. Opposite side is R2 minus R1, and hypotenuse is D. Okay. So from that, I'll be able to directly find alpha. I don't have to find actual center of similitude and then use tan theta by 2 equal to r by root s1. Just I need the radius of the two circles and distance between the centers. That is good enough. So sine inverse of this is the half of the angle. So 2 sine inverse r2 minus r1 by d will be this total angle. Almost quite related to this, I told you one more thing. Let us say I have two lines. And let us say a series of circles are touching like this. Okay, a series of circles are touching. I can have some more circles here, some more circles. Every circle is touching this line and the next circle, so on. Then the radius of all these three circles are in geometric progression. How to prove that? I should draw a little bigger figure. Okay, this part everybody clear, right? What I wrote here? Yes. Okay, so I have two lines. And a circle like this. Okay, so this is the perpendicular distance. This is the perpendicular. And this is okay. How to prove that these three radius are in GP? If I have some more circles also, I can tell they are in GP. I'll draw one horizontal line here, one horizontal line here. This is R1, so this is R1. This total is R2, so the small thing will be R2 minus R1. This total is R2, so this is R2, but total is R3, so this will be R3 minus R2. This is R1, this is R2, so this length is R1 plus R2. This R2, this R3, so this length is R2 plus R2. But this angle, all are corresponding angles, they are same. And this is 90, this is 90. So these two are similar triangles by AA similarity. I can take this by this equal to this by this or reverse. So when I take this by this, I'll get R2 plus R1 by R2 minus R1. R3 plus R2 by R3 minus R2. You can apply complementary dividend. Numerator plus denominator is 2R2. Numerator minus denominator is 2R1. Here numerator plus denominator is 2R3. Numerator minus denominator is 2R2. When you do cross multiplication, you get R2 square equal to R1 R2. That means they're in GP, or right here they're in GP. Okay, so whenever I have two lines and a series of circles like this, where every circle is touching the previous circle and the two lines go on. This radius, this radius, this radius, they are in a geometric progression. In that you take any three consecutive, we proved it. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, one or two things which are not there in IP, but useful for mains and advanced. In some questions maybe, but something from pure geometry learned in the school level. What is that? If two circles are there, they can be intersecting or they can be completely separate. They can be touching. Doesn't matter. If there is a direct common tangent touching both of them. Okay, how to find that length of direct common tangent? Take this center, this center. This angle is 90. This angle is 90. This is there. This is C1. This is C2. I'll call this one to the center side D. This is R1. This is R2. Okay. So if you want to find this length, parallel to this, you draw one line here. That is also D. This is R1, so this is R1, so this will be R2 minus R1. This is a right angle triangle. If you want this length, it is hypotenuse square minus this. So what we want is d square minus r2 minus r1 whole square. This is a formula for length of direct common tangent, that is between this point of contact and this point of contact, is root over d square distributed to the center square minus difference of the radius whole square. This is a very simple thing, right? Simple right angle triangle. And this is a parallelogram. Is it all right?
Yes, sir.
Now, a small part of this, if they are touching externally, and then you want to find direct common tangent from here to here. In the place of d, I have to write now specifically r1 plus r2. Earlier d can be anything, but now d is r1 plus r2. So it will become r1 plus r2 whole square minus r2 minus r1 whole square. A plus b whole square minus a minus b whole square is 4ab. So we will get 4 r1 r2 or 2 root r1 r2. What about length of transverse common tangent? This is 90 here. This is 90. I have this and I want to find from here to here length. So what I will do, this one, I want to construct a parallel one. I put one of them little bigger. This is bigger and this is smaller. Let us say I want to find this transverse common tangent. From here to here. Okay, this is there. This is also 90. So 90. I can extend this slightly and construct parallel to this one more line like this. Okay. Or I can even construct parallel to this also, not a big issue. Anyway, I can construct. Okay, let's say I constructed like this already. This is a parallelogram. I can more precisely, it is a rectangle. Whatever length of transverse common tangent you want, that is exactly this one. How to find that? This is d. This is r1 and this small length, this is r2, so this is also r2. So this is r1 plus r2, this is d. So what is this length? Root over this whole square minus this. That will be, no, did I write wrong? Where is 90 here? 90 here. So this is hypotenuse, this is there. So d square minus r1 plus r2 whole square. Anyway, d is greater than r1 plus r2 for them to be like this. So this is bigger, this is small. Okay. So quite similar here. There we have to subtract here the radius to get the small length, and here we are supposed to add it. So that is because length of direct common tangent is a little more, this number should be smaller. This is a transverse common tangent little small, so this number should be bigger. So mainly these two formulas, and a small subset of that is this one. Okay, this is some things based on direct common tangent and transverse common tangent lengths and their equations. I think we are almost done with that. Any other things are left? Just may see those. Just 1 minute. Oh, nice. Okay, we covered these points: pole, polar, and the lines. I did not cover direct circle, but I'll discuss relative position of two circles. Centers only two. Okay. Next, radical action of vertical. Okay. So Director circle is not important here. Just I'll cover that and I'll stop for today. And, tomorrow I'll discuss mainly doubts, and after that I'll discuss about orthogonality, radical axis, and all angle between the circles. Where are we now? So I said, okay, yeah. If I take a circle or even parabola or ellipse or hyperbola, all conic sections, one definition for director circle is that from an external point, if you draw two tangents, and if they are perpendicular, the locus of that point is called director circle. In the case of circle and ellipse and hyperbola, it is actually a circle. In the case of parabola, it is only a line, but still we call it as director circle only. Locus of point from which two perpendicular tangents can be drawn to a conic is called director circle. In circle, it is very easy from the figure, or you can use tan theta by d equal to r by root s1. What is that from the figure? Draw two lines here. Draw two lines here. Now, if you take this point or this point or this point or this point, you take any one of them, the two tangents drawn to the circle are perpendicular. You can see that. Okay. If this radius is r and this radius is r, this radius is r root 2. If you take locus of this point, you can visualize. If you take these four things and rotate it, this point will trace a circle like this. So locus of this point from which you can draw two perpendicular tangents is a new circle with same center but radius is r2. If this is 0, 0. If original circle is x square plus y equal to r square, the new circle is x square plus y equal to 2r square. Okay. In fact, in ellipse, we have this formula x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1. The director circle formula is x square plus y square equal to a square plus b square in ellipse. Here, this is also r square, this is also r square. When you put that, you get 2r square, which is exactly r root 2 whole square. So from ellipse, you can get back circles formula that way. Or simply take this as x1 comma y1 and use tan theta by 2 equal to r by root s11 and substitute theta as 90 degrees. Then also you'll get x square plus y equal to 2r square. But from the figure, you can very quickly remember that. Is it clear? Locus of point of intersection of perpendicular tangents?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to end the class now.